the idiot on the writer's block, and today we're talking about book editors. Hi, I'm Marcus, and I'm the idiot on the writer's block. If you're new to the channel, I, the idiot, ask experts for tips on how to write, publish, and promote my first fiction novel. You can check this link right here for all the videos that I've already asked on the channel. I also recently dropped the book trailer for my graphic novel, Call 1-800-KILL-A-GUY. Check it out in this link right here. If you haven't seen the trailer already, wait for the end of this video, and I'll put a link right here for you to be able to see it. And if you've already seen the trailer and want to pre-order a copy of Call 1-800-KILL-A-GUY Book 1, check the description below for links to pre-order. You can also help me out by liking and sharing the video, as well as subscribing to this channel for more tips on how to write, publish, and promote your first fiction novel. So, you've finished your manuscript and you've revised based on beta reader feedback. Is your book now ready to go out to agents or to be published? Some people say, sure. Other people say, no, get it edited first. That's what I got told. But what does book editing actually entail? How much does it cost? Do I really need to get one? And if I do decide to get one, which type do I get? Wait, there are types of editors? I don't have the answers, but I know who does. My experts. So I threw these questions on the writer's block. What should I know about book editing? And how do I know what type of editor to get? And here are the experts who will answer my questions about book editors.
Now, there are stacks of terms and words thrown around for the different types of editing. And there is a developmental editor who will look at your overarching story. So they'll look at structure, pacing, character depth, all of that big picture stuff. Now, a lot of developmental editors blur the line, and they also do a lot of the work that a copy editor does, which is, I was a developmental editor and I did all of the developmental edit and 3/4 of a copy edit. So a copy edit is the sentence level stuff. So they will look at phrasing, repetitive words, crutch phrases. Are you filtering? Are you, do your sentences have a subject? All of that good stuff. Are you in the right tense? Have you head hopped? That kind of stuff. So they will look at the sentence level stuff, and then you have proofers as well. And there are other things like line editors do slightly different things to copy editors, but I mean, much of a muchness. Personally, I'm sure somebody will go nuts at me for saying that, but I don't give a shit. And then you have proofers who go around and pick up typos, inconsistencies, formatting. Sometimes some of them do formatting errors, capitalization errors, stuff like that. Oh, and what to look for. Sorry, I only half answered your question. Yes, and so in terms of what to look for, I always look for somebody who has testimonials. I look for somebody who has pricing, who actually tells you on their website what they do and don't cover. I quite like it when somebody tells me if there are topics that they don't or genres that they don't cover, because that usually means they are then an expert in a particular area. And also that they will genuinely say no to you if they don't feel that your novel is a good fit for them. I think that's always a very good sign, because they're not there just to take your money. There are lots of people who will do that in this industry. I think somebody who is clear about their terms and conditions. So have they outlined good, turnaround times? Most editors take about a month to do a developmental edit. If they do it quicker, you have to ask yourself, are they, trading off quality for speed? And the chances are probably. Some people genuinely can work faster, and that's fine. It may be that they have a team around them or whatever. So proofers typically are much faster. What else will I look for? The other thing, which is very handy, are organizations like the Alliance of Independent Authors. So when you're a member of them, they have a trusted, approved provider list. And what that does is that they actually go and assess each person who applies to be a partner member. And if their editing service meets a certain set of criteria, then they'll be accepted and approved as a trusted provider. So there are certifications like, that sort of trusted provider mark, where you can be assured that they are good quality. Readsy is another organisation that assesses people. So if you are ever concerned, then always go through one of those organisations rather than finding somewhere. And the other one is word of mouth. So, when people come highly recommended, they've done a good job before.
Yeah, it's a great question because I've worked with probably a dozen different editors on all the books that I've read or I've written, and all of them were fine. But what I found is that some were better than others. You're not going to know which ones are better than others until later down the road. It's just a thing I've learned. Like I said, picking the right person is half the battle. So what I always try to do when I'm picking an editor is, one, find an editor that's going to do sample edits. So either they will look at the first couple of pages of your book and edit them as if they were editing for you and see what they find. And then find a couple editors to do that and compare their edits. Which editor finds the most edits? Which editor's edits resonate the most with you? Which editor's edits are the best for the story? And if they'll do a sample edit for you, that'll give you a really good indication of how it's going to be like to work with that person. So then you start to balance the quality of the editor with what you can afford. And that's how I would start. There's 3 types of editing. There's developmental editing, which is where the editor looks at the structural parts of the story. There's copy editing, where they'll look at your story line by line for consistency and general spelling and grammar issues. And then there's proofreaders. And your choice of who to pick is certainly up to you. I've always had the best success with proofreaders and copy editors. For me, it's all about competence. How the quality of the edits that they give. The first novel or 2 that you have, you're not really going to have a sense on that. You're just, anyone gives you an edit, look at your book, you're going to feel like, okay, this person's great. But after a while, you start to get a sense of, okay, which editors are the good ones? They'll start to call out things that, like, for example, I had a good editor once, and the moment I knew she was a good editor was when I tend to repeat words within a certain radius in my stories. Like, it's a little quirk that I have. Like, if I use the word important, I'll use the word important again in the next sentence, but I'll forget that I used it. And then when I get the book into audio, it sounds painfully obvious. And there were editors that weren't catching that. And so this particular editor, she caught it, but what she did was she highlighted every instance of the word. And so then it was like, whoa, wait a minute, I used the word important like 4 times in a paragraph. And that's when I was like, okay, that's when I knew this person has an attention to detail that the others didn't have. And you don't learn that until you've worked with a few different editors. Like, the worst thing you can do, no matter what you do, is pick one editor and use that editor forever. You want to pick a few. And so competence is the first thing. Second thing is, how well do we potentially work together? Are they offering comments that make sense? Do I feel like I can ask them questions about the story or a particular technique that I'm using? Are they going to give me good feedback? Are the edits that they give me going to make the book better? Those are picking the right person is half the battle. Because if you pick the right person, then you're not going to really have a whole lot of issues during the process. The problem comes when you pick the wrong person or an editor that's not a good fit. I would also recommend that you pick an editor that edits in your genre. So don't pick a romance editor to do your science fiction story. A lot of people, you'd be surprised when people do that. Don't do that, because then that editor's not going to have a good line of sight into what's going on in the genre.
Definitely ask if you can get a sample edit. If they don't, sometimes they will charge for the sample edit, and then if you work with them, they'll take that fee off of your final fee because they are obviously giving time. Some will offer a free edit just so that you kind of get a sense of if their voice jives with your stuff, if their style works with yours, or if they're like, tough love and you don't like tough love. You need to know those things before you just pay somebody to work on your stuff, because you don't want to get notes back and find that they're unhelpful or mean for you personally. And I think another thing is that you need to compare rates for people. See what your budget is, see what they can do, see if there's a custom package you can do. They should be flexible. They shouldn't just be like, this is my price and this is what I do and that's that. We can be flexible. We can work on things. Like, I offer payment plans to people who can't obviously do the huge chunk right up front. And you need to go in with the thought that not everyone can get you in the next couple weeks. That's a huge thing. People contact me and they're like, when's your availability? Can we just do it in November? And I'm like, it's October. No. I'm currently booked till March for full manuscripts. And that's because we can only do so many during the month. We can only do so many full manuscripts. And some people, it takes a while. Usually I do a 2-week turnaround. So if I'm doing full manuscripts, I can do maybe 2 or 3 a month, maybe, because I also, have another job, which a lot of editors have another job. So you have to remember that you may not be able to get it as fast as you want to get it. Which also means don't be going in with your first draft. I've gotten some manuscripts that writers have been just finished or hasn't been any beta readers. And a freelance editor should be your last line before querying and going to a publisher or something like that. Freelance editors are not there for you to, send something that's half-baked or that isn't great and hasn't had any readers to help you, because readers can give you those developmental edits that I would give you, but you're not paying them. So I tell people get readers, do multiple edits for yourself. Send it to me when you feel like it's something you can't work on anymore, that you would love to start querying it, but maybe you're not confident enough yet. And again, you should never feel you have to get a freelance editor because not everyone can afford it. That's just reality. That shouldn't hold you back from trying to get an agent. Just because it's not perfect doesn't mean anything. I have writers who I still edit them as an agent 3 or 4 times. So again, freelance editors are there to help you get to the querying process or the publication process. They're not really there because you never know. You don't want to pay for an edit and then send it to readers and find out you need even more editing. So then you have to pay for another edit. It's a lot of money. So again, I say do it when you're close to the finish line so you're not paying for multiple edits that could have been done otherwise. Because again, especially right now, you just don't want to be wasting your money when you don't know what's coming.
And there you have it. Experts have told me what I need to consider when looking for a book editor. Check in the description below for links to their work. Are you an editor or do you have feelings about book editors? Whatever you think, let me know. Put your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the book trailer for Call 1-800-KILLER-GUY Book 1. The full name is actually Culliver City Chronicles, Call 1-800-KILLER-GUY Book 1. But hey, who's keeping tabs? And check in the description below for links on how to pre-order. I'm Marcus, and I'll see you next time.